a woman who was an author, an entrepreneur, a humanitarian, also who underwent remarkable athletic feats. Asenath Nicholson. Have you ever heard of her? If you haven't, today we're going to learn a little bit about her. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Threpticon. Today we're going to talk about Asenath Nicholson. Here's a brief biography. She was born in 1792. All right, so we're way back when. 1792 in Vermont. She became interested in health after listening to Sylvester Graham talk. And Sylvester Graham, in the early 1800s, um, went around American cities giving talks about diet, really, and health. Um, he wanted to reform food, really, because there was a lot of food additives at that time. It was industrial age, so they just put often inedible things into bread. They cut flour with plaster, things like that. So he wanted to return to whole grains, whole foods, and largely a vegan diet, though lacto-ovo vegetarian at times as well. Inspired by Sylvester Graham, she opened a boarding house in the style of Graham, a Grahamite boarding house in New York City, serving this type of food. And she also published a vegetarian and then later a vegan cookbook, and we'll try to investigate into that a little bit. After her husband died at a certain point, she started a new life, really. She became a humanitarian activist. She was a Protestant, and she went to Ireland to preach the sort of Protestant Bible, right? And she walked around Ireland on foot in the 1840s, and she was there right at the time of the Great Famine, the Irish potato famine, which she wrote about. She was an eyewitness account. She became an aid worker during the height of the famine. Later, she returned to the U.S., and there she died in 1855, writing several books. So here we can imagine her, walking around the Irish countryside, and a woman at that time, probably not as usual for women to go on these long walking voyages. So it's a great achievement. So here is the book she published, the Vegetarian Cookbook, Nature's Own Book. Great title, Nature's Own Book on the vegetable diet. So this was even before the word vegetarian. So and here's some recipes. They have some of them have milk and such, like these sweet crackers. So here's the recipe: 1 teacup, so 1 cup, of course, wheat meal, 1 of sour milk or buttermilk, 3/4 teacup of sugar, half a teaspoon of pearl ash, made hard, rolled thin, and well baked. Um, exactly. So I assume that pearl ash is something like baking soda. We can look into that. And then here's her simple water crackers, the most simple out there. So wheat meal, wet with nothing but water, right? And kneaded by hand, cut to pieces, rolled as thin as possible. And according to her, this makes the healthiest bread for the stomach that can be eaten. It's a good digestion, palatable dessert. It acts like an absorbent where there's anything acid in the stomach. So there we go. These are some of the recipes. Maybe modern readers won't like the simplicity, but this is it. I mean, the idea of these boarding houses was to kind of detox people from coffee, alcohol, and stimulating foods, what they considered stimulating foods, such as meat. So this vegan book, supposed vegan book, Kitchen Philosophy for Vegetarians from 1847, I can't find, right? I can't find any library that has it. Um, Claimed to be vegan book here in this publication of the Vegan Society. The first animal product free cookery book, Kitchen Philosophy of Vegetarians, was published in England in 1849 by William Horsell of London. A review of the book claimed that butter and eggs are excluded, making it the first known vegan cookery book. So that comes from a review. William Horsell was a vegetarian and the owner of the water cure establishment in Ramsgate, where the meeting to found the Vegetarian Society took place in 1847. So there we go. So once again, if you can find this book, I'd be very happy. But I can't find it. So yeah, if you have a copy, if you know of a copy, let me know, and we'll try to get to the bottom of this. But anyway, that's all I have to say for this remarkable woman, Asenath Nicholson. Um, Another question I could ask is why aren't more women represented in this early period? And we can go into the reasons why that, the societal reasons. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time.